Alright guys, today we're adding and subtracting, and then we're going to be also doing multiplying polynomials. Okay, so we've already done adding and subtracting. I'm just going to review some things that I saw that were concerning about your previous assignment, and then we'll be multiplying polynomials. Okay, so 1, adding. Go ahead and pause and write that down. Alright, here are some things that I saw that were a little bit concerning. A lot of y'all would just add the two front numbers and then add the middle numbers and then add the back numbers. That's not okay. Alright? This is a to the fourth. A to the fourth. Are there any other a to the fourths around here? No, there's no other exponent of 4. So we just rewrite it. We don't add it with anything because there's no other exponent that says 4 with it. Okay? Then this is a to the third. Negative 3a to the third. And then I guess I do have another a to the third. Okay? Alright, so this also is going to be a special case though. If you put negative 3 plus 3 in your calculator, you're going to get 0. Please don't put plus 0 a to the third. If it's 0, it goes away. It's no longer there. So negative 3 plus 3, well, that's just 0, so it just goes away. It's gone. Okay? And then I'll add up my 7 a's. So a and a. They're both just a's, so I can add them. 7 plus 4 is 11, so plus 11a. And then I have my random constant, my 12 over here. And I can just put it to the side, plus 12. Oh, that's not 12. There we go. Okay, and that's it. So when you're adding some things I saw, just make sure you're not adding the front numbers together, or make sure you're just being very careful to add the correct exponents together. And if something adds up to 0, it'll cross off. Okay, subtracting. Remember, or hang on, pause and write it down. Remember with subtracting that you have to distribute that negative, which most of y'all did a pretty good job of, but let's go ahead and do it again. Remember, when you're subtracting, you rewrite the first stuff. I'm just going to rewrite this. But then you have to distribute a negative back here. So I'm going to put a 1 here, and then distribute that negative 1. So negative 1 times 2 is a negative 2, and then rewrite a squared. And then negative 1 times positive 3 is negative 3. Okay? Good. And then now it's just like adding. You just combine the like terms. So this is a squared. Are there any other squareds? And yep, right here. Good. So 3 minus 2 is 1a squared, right? And then I have an a here. Are there any other just a's? No. So I'm just going to write plus 4a because there's nothing that I can combine it with. And then negative 7 minus 3. So in your calculator, negative 7 minus 3, or you could put negative 7 plus negative 3. Either way would work, and you'd get negative 10. And there you go. It all works out. Okay? That's the stuff we've done before. I just want to give you those helpful hints of stuff you're doing wrong. Here's the new stuff. Multiplying. Go ahead and write that down. And we're also going to do some steps to the side. Okay. Multiplying. Basically, we're just like distributing. Okay? So here are your steps. Very simple. Nothing you haven't done before. The first step is we're going to multiply the coefficients. Multiply the coefficients. That's like the big numbers. Okay, we're just going to multiply them because distributing is like multiplying. And the second thing you're going to do, you're just going to add your exponents. Because when you multiply, you add your exponents. Now don't freak out, this isn't like exponent rules. All we're doing is multiplying the big numbers and adding the exponents. So, I'm going to go ahead and draw my distribution lines to all three things, because we're going to distribute it to everything. It goes to all the stuff. Okay? So 4 times 3 is 12. And there is no exponent here, so there's a 1, so we just add it. 1 plus 2 is 3. Good. And then 4 times 2 is 8. And then 1 plus, there's an exponent here, so it's a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then the last thing is 4 times 1 is 4. And then 1 plus, this is a big mistake a lot of kids make. 1 plus nothing is just 1. Okay? You could put a 1 on top if you want to, or you don't have to. Alright? That's it. That's your answer. Okay? Very, very simple. You multiply the big numbers, your coefficients, and then you add your exponents together. Okay? But what if there's more than one letter? Well, let's talk about it. Pause and write it down. Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and draw our distribution lines. Which, by the way, on a side note, as I'm drawing my lines, which is kind of hard with only one hand, by the way. This only works if there's one thing out here. If there's two things out here, you do something completely different, and we'll get to it later. But if there's just one thing out here, then this is what we do. Okay? So we're going to multiply our big numbers, and we're going to add our exponents, right? And just be careful, when you have multiple letters, you can only add your A's together, and then only add your B's together. Okay? So let's multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. There's 2 A's here, and then I can put a 1 here. There's 1 A here. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay? And then there's no exponent here, so I can put a 1. And then 1B, and then this is also 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? And then 2 times 4 is 8. 2A's plus 1A is 3A's. So A3. And then 1B plus nothing is just 1B. You can put B, or you can put B with a 1, but on like your star test, you won't see the 1. It'll just be B. Okay? And then 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2A's plus no A's is just 2A's. And then 1B plus nothing is just 1B. Okay? That's it. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and box that up. So you're not really going to see that very often, but I just wanted you to see it here, that if there are multiple letters, you just add up the correct letters together. Okay, let's talk about a real world problem. We're almost done. This is the second to last problem. Go ahead and pause, write it down. What is the area? And I drew a rectangle, and then I have 3x down here, and 12x squared minus 3x. Okay, so what is the area? So when you're doing area, you have to do length times width. So how you would write that is do 3x times, and then write all that. 12x squared minus 3x. Okay, just side by side means multiplied, right? And then you do the same thing that we've been doing. We just draw our distribution lines. We multiply the front numbers, and then we add exponents. So 3 times 12 is 36. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. In your head or in the calculator, 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. Simple, right? And I didn't think to show you this, but I'll just explain. If there is no number in front, you would draw a 1. Like, I'm pretty sure you'd know that, but just in case. If it just said x squared, you'd put a little 1 there. Okay? But that's good. Alright, last problem. This is more like what you'll see in algebra next week, probably around Wednesday-ish. Pause and write it down. What is the perimeter and area of the shape? I have the shape, and I have my stuff. Okay? So we're talking about two completely different things here. We're going to talk about perimeter, and we're going to talk about area. Okay? I'm going to do area first because it's easier. So area is length times width. Okay? So I'm going to write it like this. Length. So I'm going to put area here so we know which one I'm doing. So area is length times width, right? So I'll do 2y times 4y minus 3x. Okay? And area side by side is multiplied, so I'll distribute. So I'm going to put my little things like that. So 2 times 4 is 8. And then there's 1y there and 1y there. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Now real quick, I want you to listen up. This is y and this is x. So I can't add them together at all. I have to put them in order, right? When we do that though, it doesn't really matter, but we tend to put them in alphabetical order. So if you have 2 letters, you could put, you could put yx here, and technically it's right, I'd count it right, but really, like on your STAR test, they would put x and then y, because they're going to put the letters in alphabetical order. Okay? So let's be careful. It's like nothing plus, like 1y plus nothing is y, and then no x's plus 1x is just 1x. So basically you put them side by side. You can technically put them in any order you want, but they're going to put them in alphabetical order, just FYI. Okay? And then that's your area. Area. Alright? Now perimeter, we're still having issues with. Perimeter means I have to add up all 4 sides. A lot of you are just adding up 2 sides. So I'm going to label the other sides. Good. And then now we're going to combine the like terms, okay? So this would be, I have all my y's. So I'm going to add them up. 4 plus 4 is 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12y. Remember, when you add or subtract, you do nothing with the exponents. I'm not adding any of the exponents together. That's the difference. When you multiply, you add your exponents. When you're adding, you do nothing. Okay? And for some of y'all, if that's getting confusing, remember that Pac-Man DS thing I showed you. When you multiply, you add your exponents. But when you add, you do nothing. That's a good way to kind of show you what's up. Alright? So that's 12y. And then we're going to add our x's. Negative 3 minus 3. So in your calculator, you could put negative 3 minus 3 or negative 3 plus negative 3, however you want to do it. And you'll just get minus 6x. Good. And that's the perimeter. Alright, that's it. That's all we had to talk about. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, get to work.